Hello, fellow peasants. Today I'll be reviewing Damien Leone's Terrifier 3. Alright guys, so last night I went to watch Terrifier 3. Me and my cousin Big Mike. We couldn't wait, we were excited. Unfortunately, we did not get our barf bags. The theater we went to did not have the barf bags. I was pretty let down at that. I kind of wanted to frame that or sell that on eBay from five years from now. But what's it about? What is Terrifier 3 about? Keep in mind, this is the non-spoiler review. So I'm going to be very, very vague in this review. If you want more details and you want it spoiled for you, or you've already seen the film, wait around for my spoiler review. All right, so what is it about? Basically, Terrifier 3 takes place 5 years after the events of Terrifier 2. So now you have Jonathan is in college, Sienna is, she's struggling. She's been in and out of mental hospitals. She's struggling. She's got trauma, PTSD from Art the Clown trying to kill her in the second film. And the rest of the film, most of the film is just Art going around killing people in a Santa Claus outfit. And Sienna is at her uncle's house for Christmas. And there's just some drama there because her aunt and uncle are afraid that she's going to have a negative impact on her cousin, her younger cousin, because she's constantly flipping out and having panic attacks and shit like that, thinking that she's seeing things that aren't there and stuff like that. And then eventually at some point later in the film, Sienna and Art have a showdown again. What do I like? What do I not like about Terrifier 3? What I like is the Christmas setting. The Christmas setting is very good here. I've heard other reviewers say that the Christmas setting feels like old school Christmas, like a retro Christmas vibe, and I totally get that. The bulbs in the trees are big. This definitely has a 80s, early 90s Christmas vibe to it in terms of the style of decorations and everything. So I like it's snowing outside. Art is dressed as Santa. There's a scene in the film where Art goes to a bar and there's a Santa Claus dressed up in there, and he wants to sit on Santa's lap and everything. He acts like he's a kid or something, which is pretty funny. Creepy, but it's kind of funny too. And then the cinematography here, I think the camera angles are a lot better here. I think the camera work is nice. The color grading here is something that's noticeably different. So the first two films have a very teal, pinkish, maybe magenta, if I'm using the right term, definitely pinkish, tealish color grading. That's pretty much gone with this film. So the blood in this, unlike the first two, is actually red. Unlike the first two films where the blood kind of had a slight pinkish hue to it, that's gone now. So the blood in this is red, if not deeper red than the hoodie I got on right now. But I don't mind the color grading change because I think the extra warmth and the more natural earthy tones of the color grading for this matches the Christmas season. I think if they would have done the previous color grading from the other two films, it probably wouldn't have looked the same, or it wouldn't have matched the season, you know what I mean? One thing that is similar in terms of the color grading or the cinematography is the blown out whites. The whites throughout all these films have always kind of been blown out, and the contrast has been high. The contrast is not very high in this one, but the whites are a little blown out. So it still looks and feels like a Terrifier film, but I appreciate the more natural colors that they went with. In terms of the kills, The kills are very, very, very violent. They didn't hold back in this at all. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to talk about the kills in detail. I'll do that in my spoiler review. Just know this, that the kills are pretty hardcore. Is it so over the top that it makes number 2 look like a Disney flick or something? No. The bedroom scene kill in Terrifier 2 is still... I would say nothing in this dramatically makes the... Like, nothing in this makes the bedroom scene in 2 feel tame. Like, I don't think they went that much farther in this film, in my opinion. It's just done in different ways. You know what I mean? It's just different technique, without getting into too much detail. But all the reports of people throwing up and walking out, and I was sitting eating my popcorn while I was watching the whole movie, so I never once wanted to throw up or puke or walk out or faint or none of that. That's just, I think a lot of that was people who have never really seen a whole lot of horror films. They went in not knowing what it was, and because it was just like a premiere thing or something, and they got queasy, you know. But anyone who's seen the first 2 films and is a fan of horror films in general, like, you're not gonna have to worry about anything. Like, it's really violent, but it's nothing you haven't seen before, you know. So definitely not from this franchise. The acting in here, very good. I think the acting has stepped up a notch every film. I can't think of anyone who gives a poor performance in this. Everyone in here does a solid job. Now, is this Oscar award-winning acting? No. These are, you know, low-budget Terrifier movies. But you don't feel like you're watching some fan film or something. It doesn't look like something I would make. Like, I have films that me, my friends, and my cousin make here on the channel, and the acting's way better than what we do. This is way better than some like homemade shoot it in your backyard acting. So yeah, great performances here. Trying to think of the negatives that I have for this. The opening of the film, without getting into too much detail, there's a lot of back and forth and confusion. You know, it starts off in one period, then it jumps back to another period, then it comes back again to, you know, it's very confusing as to where it starts and where you're going. Like, usually movies, you know, they show they start off with the last film and then they jump, and then they do the time jump. This kind of like jumps, then jumps. Like, there's like multiple starting points at the beginning of the film, and it's kind of confusing, you know. So I don't really like that. I think that I know they're making a 4. It's already greenlit, but I really think they should have done a better job explaining or gave more detail explaining the magical sword. Once again, you know, the sword comes into play here in the film, and you still don't really have an explanation of why she has it, what it is, why it affects Art the way it does. You know, what about like her dad's drawings? Like is there a connection between her dad's drawings and Art? I don't think they've explained any of that in this film or the last film. Like, unless I've missed something, I'm really not seeing the connection between Art the Clown and Sienna's family. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make... And that leads into my other issue with the franchise in general, especially just 2 and 3, not so much number 1. But now that you've established that, like, there's some connection to some level between Art the Clown and Sienna and her family and her dad in the drawings, why is Art off killing randos? You know what I mean? Like, he's off killing random people, and if he's got this vendetta, if there's like, and I said this in my other in my Terrifier 2 review, and I was hoping to get more clarification on this in Terrifier 3, but I didn't. They still haven't explained, like, why is, if Art the Clown is so directly tied to Sienna and her dad's drawings in the family, why is he off killing all these other randos? You think he would just go directly to the source? He would just go straight to her and try to kill her. It makes Terrifier 1 not really make a whole lot of sense. Like, why was he not after her at all in Terrifier 1? It's kind of like they made Terrifier 1 and they're like, okay, let's have a story. Now let's have a final girl. I think the interview I watched with Damien Leone, he kind of said that. He's like, look, I want to introduce the character, and then if it went somewhere, then I would be like, okay, now let's get a final girl. And so, I guess that's what they did, but it definitely feels like that, because I'm not getting the reason why they're connected, and that's a big issue, I think, in the franchise and in the last two films. But all in all, I will say I really enjoyed the film, because, truth be told, are any of us really watching the Terrifier films for some in-depth, multifaceted story? No. We're here to watch a creepy killer clown kill people, and that's what these are. You're here for the show. You're here for the antics. You're here to see how far they can push it, and that's definitely here. You're definitely gonna get that. You're definitely gonna get the boundaries pushed with this. So all in all, do I think it's better than number 2? No, I think it's just as good as number 2. I don't feel it advances the story at all, really. I don't think I didn't learn any more from this than I knew in number 2. Unless I wasn't paying attention, there's nothing new is really revealed here, in my opinion. But yeah, all in all, just as good as number 2. So if you like number 2, you're gonna like this one. I just wouldn't say that this one is better overall. Are there things that it does better than number 2? Yes. But overall, as a package deal, no, it's not better than number 2. All right, guys, that's it. Stay tuned for my spoiler review. I'm going to be doing a spoiler review later, and we'll get into the details of what happens and all the gory details. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace out, peasants. Bye-bye.